A doctor's daughter, a poor physician's daughter, my wife. It is Bertram's outcry when told by the king that because Helen has cured the monarch, Bertram must be marrying the maid. To us, Bertram's trashing of Helen seems a tad hubristic. To us, doctors' daughters are highly prized specimens. I mean, if her dad is a plastic surgeon, an orthopedist, or a cardiologist, he's pulling in $500,000 a year. Even the ones at the bottom of the rankings, the family doctors and the pediatricians, they pull in $250,000. The average income in America is $40,000. What the crap is Bertram whining about? A poor physician's daughter? Well, it turns out times have changed for our brothers and sisters of the Hippocratic tradition, especially the surgeons. The very first practitioners of the medical arts were, like Helen's much maligned father, Geoffrey de Narbonne, French. The first known surgery, a trepanation, took place in France 7,000 years ago. Now, should you be wondering, a trepanation is when they take a drill, they bore it into your skull to expose the dura mater, the top layer of meninges, protecting your cranium. This was done 7,000 years ago to release spirits and remove chunks of flint and wood from cavemen traumatic brain injuries. Now, moving along the timeline of our civilizations, we find, according to Herodotus, that due to their fine doctors, the Egyptians were the healthiest of all peoples, next to the Libyans. Carry on through India and China, and we come to Hippocrates of Kos, he who gave us his famous oath, do no harm, and then proceeded to do a whole bunch of harm. The word for doctors doing you harm, by the way, meaning they are the ones who actually get you sick, is iatrogenesis. Now, in Helen's case, if she screws up and kills the king with her physic, things will not end well because she will also be put to death. No deductible on that malpractice insurance. Now, from the time of our do no harm Hippocrates of Kos to our all's well that ends well Bill of Stratford, apart from the brilliant physician Galen, nothing really changes in medicine. Another reason why they are called the Dark Ages. This darkness was in part fueled by a gigantic pandemic known as the Black Death that killed off more than 100 million in Europe, Asia, and Africa. The irony is, like COVID, the Great Plague also started in China. And when it finally came to America, the government tried to cover it up for fear it would hurt the economy. The more things change. Oh, and the Spanish flu of 1918 started in Kansas. Yes, it's actually the American flu. How about them apples, MAGA boy? Sorry, I digress. Good riddance. Now, back in 1605, when our Will writes his All's Well, the prevailing belief among Jacobean physicians is that we are composed of 4 humors: melancholy, dry and cold like the earth; phlegmatic, cold and wet like water; sanguine, hot and moist like the air; and choleric, hot and dry like fire. Now, when we get sick, these humors get out of balance. So it would be perfectly logical to assume that the way to get unsick is for the doctor to put the humors back in balance. And that is exactly what they would try to do. Now, one of the best ways to do this is to cast a horoscope. Elizabethan physicians had a chart they called the zodiac man. Each sign took a certain part of your body. The head was Aries, your ankles Aquarius, Leo got the heart, Libra the kidneys, Virgo the liver, and Scorpio your genitals. The lungs were Gemini. Now, knowing this, the physician can take a description of your symptoms and diagnose your illness from your horoscope. This is what Sotobi and Aguchik are rabbiting on about in Twelfth Night. Were we not born under Taurus? Taurus, that's sides and heart. No, sir, it is legs and thighs. Naturally, those 2 idiots get it all wrong. Taurus is your neck and ears. Legs and thighs are Sagittarius. Now, it is for this reason, by the way, that Michael de Nostradamus, also of French persuasion, was declared one of the greatest physicians in the world. This and the fact that he famously told his patients, and I'm not making this up, wash your hands, socially distance, and wear a mask. Now, one of Nostradamus' predictions was, in the twin year, there will come a queen from the east who will spread a plague on the countries of the seven hills, bringing destruction to the world. The seven hills is Italy. The east is China. The plague is a virus. The queen is Corona. And the twin year is 2020. Back to Will. So after the horoscope comes the urine sample. In the good old days, you didn't go to the doctor's office. Your urine did, carried by a urine courier. To the Jacobean physician, there are 21 shades of urine, from lemon to leek to raven black. Lemon is good. Raven black is, as Lady Macbeth says, it's fatal. Now, after assessing the color, your physician would drink the urine. Yep, if the urine was sweet, you had diabetes. The Latin name for the sugary plague sweeping across America right now is diabetes mellitus, sweet diabetes. If the urine was bitter, you had diabetes insipidus. This is where your body fluids go completely out of whack and you pee 5 gallons of urine a day. Not good. Anyway, having read your horoscope, sipped your pee, and made an initial diagnosis, it all went downhill from there. Remember, your physician's prevailing thought is, I have to get my patient's humor back in balance. So here comes the fun stuff. But as the original physicians were monks, who later would become the College of Physicians and were of a Catholic persuasion, they were not allowed to spill blood. So to get around this, the physician monks got the local haircutting barbers to do the dirty work for them. It was the barbers who would clean the ears, lance the boils, burn the cysts, open a vein, apply the leeches, give the enemas, and pull the rotten, aching teeth, all with no anesthetic. And voila, the haircutters transform into the worshipful company of barber surgeons, or, as the King of France refers to them in All's Well, whilst he's comparing them to prostitutes, the empirics are born. Now that we know this, I have to say, if her dad was making living applying leeches and enemas, I might not be in a hurry to marry the doctor's daughter. Like Bertram, I do not believe this is going to end all well. But wait, there's a twist in the tale. Not long after Will wrote All's Well, his own daughter, Susanna, married, yep, a physician, Dr. John Hall. And 9 months later, they had a daughter, Elizabeth. It turns out that Will's own grandchild was a physician's daughter. And Elizabeth did very well for herself. She ended up becoming Lady Barnard of Abington. There you go. All's well that ends well. And on.